We work on things that we should be doing better. We get up early. We get up at 5 a.m. We read extra books. We're trying to fix our diet, and it works for a couple of days, maybe a week or two, and then we fall short. And what happens when we fall short? We start struggling with our identity. We start not believing that we can change. We start accepting the fact that that's just who we are. We've heard that saying, right? That's just who I am. I've always been like this. I can't change. And for a lot of us, we've accepted that as our identity for so long. You started to believe it. And you start letting other people know, and then people start getting around you. They know that they can't trust you. You start getting discouraged of trying to do anything new because you know at some point you're just going to fall back into those same old habits, and it's an everlasting cycle. And you're tired, you're hurt, you're depressed, you're miserable, you're anxious. There's so many feelings that just start running around in your mind, and you crash out. I'm here to tell you there's a power in living today. There's a power in today. And this video is for anybody who's struggling with an addiction, who's struggling with behaviors that you're not proud of, and you're wanting to be better, you're wanting to do more, you're wanting to achieve more, you're wanting to break the chains of things that have kept you in a pretty negative headspace, but you can't. And the pain of thinking too far ahead of like, this is going to take me that long to change, I don't know. I'd rather just be comfortable right now because trust me, life is hard. Life is not easy. So, but I think Mel Robbins says such a great quote on this. Let's check it out.
How do I be more present? It's a fantastic question. And let me distinguish really quickly the difference between the past, the present, and the future. If you're living in the past, you're going to be depressed because you are rehashing things that happened to you that are not going to happen again. If you're living in the future, you're going to be anxious because you are anticipating what's coming or you're wishing for things that aren't happening yet. Being in the present is where the gold is. Being in the present moment is where you will have the greatest control, where you will feel the most at ease, and where happiness flourishes.
So what Mel was talking about was huge, right? Because in the past is where we kind of dwell on a lot of the things that we wish we had not done. We kind of go over in our heads of how we would have changed it. We start wallowing. We start being kind of like almost resentful of ourselves for doing it in the first place. We're just like, why would I have done that? And you're trying to fix something that you'll never get back. And it's honestly, it's insanity because you're trying to over and over, you're remembering, you're recycling, you're trying to make it different. But newsflash, nothing that's going to change. Your past can never change. And for a lot of us, we identify as our past because at some point we understood that we could have done better. We should have done better. But in that moment, we fell to a moment of weakness, a moment of despair, a moment of lack of self-control, and we did it. And that moment might be different for everybody. That those moments where whatever you fell into that you don't feel proud of in that moment is different for everybody. It might be drugs. It might be people. It might be people pleasing. It might be alcohol. It might be procrastination. It might be quitting. Whatever it is to you, those moments are always going to haunt you if you keep placing the focus on them. And you're just going to go insane. I could tell you 100% that if you keep thinking about your past, you're going to be in despair. You're going to be depressed because like I said, at the end of the day, you can't change that. You can't worry about it because it's hard. And the hardest thing is our identity in that moment, right? For a lot of us, we place our identity in that action that we did. We start telling ourselves, I can't change. That's just who I am. I can't change. Like I've always been like that. My parents are like that. I have an addictive personality. Like the moon is in retrograde. I act different and it starts becoming an overflow of excuses and things that you wish you could change. Because trust me, I know deep down you don't want to believe them, but you're almost forced to believe them. And I want to just kind of give you a kind of peace of mind knowing that your identity is not in your failures. Your identity is not in your shortcomings. Your identity is not in your setbacks. Your identity is not in the times that you lacked self-control. Trust me, we've all been there. I want you to understand that it's willpower is hard. And for me, as somebody who struggled with so many things to get easily addicted to, even just being in comfort was easy for me. You worked hard for so long, you just get so tired. You're just like, I want it to be easier. So you start finding things that make you feel good. And getting addicted to comfort is a deadly place to be in, because you don't strive for anything more. You don't want to grow anymore. You're okay with what everything is. So I had to honestly get to a dark place in my life where I had to be like, I need to place my identity in something that's greater than me, and that's Jesus Christ. And for a lot of people who are struggling with things that you cannot shake, and you can't, and you've tried everything known to man to kind of get better at. Yeah, I'll do better in my finances. I'm going to cut that person off. I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and it's like you can only do it for so long before you get burnt out, and then it's another failure. It's another setback, and you start wallowing. You start being defeated, and it hurts. And I can tell you, you can do as many things as you're wanting to do to try to distract yourself, but you're always going to feel that. So I think, like I said, finding your identity in Christ, finding your identity in God is going to be your biggest thing, because one thing about him is he is constant. He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and forever. And that's being so much pleasure and joy, because knowing that when you're in him, you are not succumb to your failures, because we know we serve a God that does not fail. He's omnipresent. He's omnipotent. He knows everything, and at the end of the day, he is all goodness and joy and love. So I would subscribe to anybody who's struggling with placing their identity in something. Don't place it in yourself, because you're always going to fail. It's just our natural inhibition. Our willpower isn't strong enough, but placing in something that's bigger than you, somebody who's greater than you, someone who's overcome the setbacks, who's overcome the failures, who overcome the sins. And that person is one and only Jesus Christ. So I would recommend that. And then second of all, the hardest thing for us is the future. For a lot of us, we're hoping for that new job. We're hoping for that promotion. We're hoping for our financial future. We're hoping for our relationships to get better. And for a lot of us, we go crazy because now we're trying to force things that we have no technique. We can't change. We can't change somebody. We can't force anybody to like us. We can't force somebody to be in a relationship with us. And the hardest thing about changing for the future is that we start seeing what it takes to get to that point in the future, and then it makes us more miserable, because you notice how long it takes. It's kind of daunting to kind of think about. It's going to take me 21 days to make or break a change of habit. It's going to take me that long to let go of this bad habit that I'm forming, and this comfortable notion that I've found myself in. Yeah, it takes a long time, but don't worry about the future. You're going to make yourself so anxious if you're thinking about it. Yeah, I know you want that promotion. Yeah, I know you want your health to get better. I know you want to lose the weight. I know you want to control your temper. I know you want to be more forgiving and loving. But I want you to focus on today. I want you to be present. Like Mel said, that the goal is in the now. The things that we can control. We can control how we're using our time, our effort, our energy today. When you learn that life is all about moments, that moment when you messed up, you felt distraught, you felt forgotten, don't worry about that. Those moments where you want to think about the future outcomes of things that you have zero control about, it gets scary. You start going insane. You start thinking, yeah, I'm planning ahead. But no, all you're trying to do is control something that you have no control over. You can't control people. You can't control outcomes. All you can do is control what you can do, but people will find a way to surprise you. Things will find a way to surprise you. You start getting to this place of anxiety because you're thinking things have to be perfect. Things have to go the way I want them to go because I know best. And I'm telling you, how many times have we gotten what we wanted and it was not what we actually needed? Huh? It sucks. And the best thing I can say for people who are worried about the future and regretful of the past is to find joy in the discipline of today. And I think that's all it is to be human. Is to be alive is the discipline of today. Discipline is finding out what you want most and doing it instead of falling to the comfortability and the complacency of what you want right now. And for a lot of us, we don't know what we want the most. So we get confused because we don't know. And it's so frustrating to figure out what you want most. It's hard. So I want you to sit down and ask yourself, what do you really want the most? What is something that it doesn't bring immediate gratification, but at the end of the day, it's truly what you desire? And it's the discipline of today working towards that goal, because it's truly never the end goal. The end goal is never really what brings you true happiness and joy. It's the process of getting to that point is what brings you true growth, joy, and happiness. Because I could tell for me when I wanted to play in the NFL, yes, making to the NFL was the greatest, one of the most greatest accomplishments I ever had. It was those moments of showing up every single day when it was easier to go to sleep, or it was easier to just chill. It was easier to go drink on the weekends. It was easier to slack off in the weight room. It was easier just to kind of be mediocre and just have fun and coast through college. It was easier when I got injured to kind of just give up and kind of just be ready for the next day. It was easier to let go of the responsibility of today and just worry about tomorrow. It was easier to smoke and just cloud my responsibilities away. But the moments where I kept showing up every day is what I remember the most. It brought me the most joy. It set me apart from my peers because I wasn't the most talented. I wasn't the most gifted. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the strongest, but I was somebody that just showed up. And that's all life is, just showing up for yourself. And for a lot of us, we don't show up because we're too scared of the failures that might never even happen, but we've convinced ourselves in that moment that we'll never get to the point of contention where we actually want to be because we might fail, or people might think of us. The discipline of today, discipline of doing the hard thing. Because you know what they said, doing hard things give you a better life. Doing easy things may give you a harder life. Notice I didn't say easier life. I said better because you're just going to put yourself in a better predicament, better opportunity. It's not guaranteed, but it's going to give yourself a better opportunity than if you just chose the easy way out. And for a lot of us, the ease of life, the ease of comfort is so tempting because life is so hard sometimes. I can only adhere to the people who are struggling with something hard to get by. You just want to kind of mask everything away at the end of the day because it feels like insanity because, yeah, you got to go to work. Adulting is hard. The financial situation, the economic crisis, like everything is buried down upon you. But I'm telling you, if you just continuously just keep showing up for yourself in that moment and just having the discipline of now, finding your identity in something that's greater than you, and his name is Jesus Christ, I'm telling you, you're going to go far. You're going to achieve, and you don't have to worry about, it's 21 days. If you just worry about today, you worry about right now, you'll look up and it'll be 21 days. You'll be like, wow, look how far I've came. And I'm excited just to keep going farther. I hope this video helps somebody who's struggling with just being present today, who's struggling with the discipline of now, who's struggling with finding comfort in uncomfortability. I hope it just gives you some kind of solace in knowing that you're not alone. And if this helps you, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's do this live together.